All right, everyone. So people are asking me more questions on like what your tools really can do for you, how they can be used, and all of our ceramic tools can be used in many different ways. It's never just usually for one thing, but I'm sure that when you went to go buy a basic pottery kit, you probably received something like this. So this is a trimming tool usually meant for trimming leather hard pots and vessels that are thrown on the wheel. So I like to use these tools a lot for hollowing out my work that is dense and thick of clay. But then I also like to use this tool to do some sort of carving techniques. Um, I find and of course, it always works best on things that are leather hard. This is not quite leather hard, but still relatively dry. A simple controlled repetition of this tool at a nice angle is a really great way to get a sort of a scale type of texture. And then I have a bunch of these smaller trimming tools as well. And you can do the same thing with these. Also, the bottom of this tool can make a really good texture as well by just pressing and being repetitive. I definitely feel like texture and decoration is just a multitude of definitely understanding design, but then also just this kind of control of repetition. And decoration very much tends to be sort of tedious work too. And I'll be sharing a photo of this so you can see it maybe in greater detail. There's also your sculpture tool. Sorry. That makes a really great texture. This angle right here, this makes a great texture just by being repeated also. I like doing this texture when I'm trying to make my clay appear as it is furry or fuzzy. So that's great. There's also the other side of this sculpture tool, which mine is very dirty. Just clean that off a little bit. That can be used. See, I always talk about the curved edge of this. So you can use the curved edge of this to also create some fun textures. What else do we have here? The needle tool, I feel like can make some pretty good texture, but it's always very, very thin. So I have this wonderful decorative tool that has these two rubber ends on it. So they're made out of rubber, so they do give and they are able to be pushed a little bit. So this is really good for fine detail work. It's just a tool that is really gentle on the clay. And I find this to be best used for creating more figurative or realistic, but this one's great because it has this like sharper edge and then it has also that angle. So yeah, just made a little feather there. And then I actually happen to have this tool that I got at the hardware store. So not a common ceramic tool, but a tool that is extremely fun to use. This is a way to make a kind of like a mossy texture. So you simply want one of these and like have it be clean. And then you just take some clay. And if you remember being a child with those Play-Doh creatures that you press the clay into their head and their hair would grow as Play-Doh, this kind of works the same. So you just press the clay out. It's so satisfying and so much fun. And then take your pen tool or your needle tool and kind of just scrape it off. Look how beautiful that is. So I can connect this to my clay pretty easily. You just want to make sure that when you're connecting little pieces of clay, they will be very, very breakable, and there's a huge chance that some of this is going to fall off your work, but just remember to not touch it and let it dry. So by attaching it, you just want to have a little bit of water, and then you have to definitely compress down some of the edges here. So I'm taking time to compress the sides of this down. You can try to use the needle tool to kind of move that around too. That's a crazy texture. That's super beautiful and I love it. It really shows the quality of the clay. And then I definitely, for just making things smooth, any sort of the credit card tool that we recommended in our, or that I recommend if you never were able to get a rib tool, is really great too. You can always use the rib tool. It's super good for just smoothing anything out. So I know this is already smooth and it's kind of a silly demonstration, but this is really great for like a smooth area. And really anything that you can find around the house to just imprint into. I mean, there's nothing like your finger as a tool. Your finger can do a lot of the same things that these tools can do. These tools are just great for going a little bit deeper and having more control of the angles that you're cutting into. And of course, having some sort of knife is really nice too. A knife is such a great tool, especially for when your work gets a little bit harder. Um, the knife and also the needle tool works well, but the knife works better for, I think, bigger pieces of clay. It just makes the cut really clean and really easy. And I believe that's it for sort of just like the basic ceramic tools, and I will be making some more videos, so stay tuned. Thanks.